On the face it, a one-score defeat to last year's beaten finalist Munster would normally be a cue for the crockery to be hurled around the Liberty Stadium. But Steve Tandy was in no mood for excuses during his post-match debrief of this most recent setback for his underperforming Ospreys team. After witnessing his side fall to a 7th loss in 9 league matches, going down 2,116, Tandy had no hesitation in laying into what he described as an unacceptable performance, particularly an opening 40 minutes where the Ospreys barely fired a shot. Ospreys head coach Steve Tandy did not hold back with his post-match blast at his players' image Hugh Evans' picture agency inside the walls of the home dressing room. You imagine there had been far more choice language used. Being well beaten and off your game is one thing, but when your coach is pointing the finger and accusing players of a lack of energy and questioning their attitude, those words will surely hurt. And hurt a lot, too. Tandy stressed that he and his fellow coaches will also be looking hard at themselves over the coming days. The Ospreys' mantra has always been about the collective. It was why they hated the Galacticos tag that was handed to them when the playing roster was stacked with international stardust. And in delivering such a scathing assessment of the Munster display, Tandy has issued a message that is loud and clear. It would have been easy for the coach to deliver the regular post-match sound bites about lacking accuracy, losing the collisions, but taking the positives from a determined third-quarter comeback and learning the lessons of a loss against a Munster team high on confidence. Keelan Giles is tackled by Alex Wootton during the game, but that would have washed with the increasingly disgruntled Ospreys support. There is no hiding from the fact that the pressure is mounting on everyone at the Liberty, and that pressure hasn't suddenly come from a scratchy home win over Zebra and losses to 2 title contenders. The pressure has built since the Ospreys were humbled out in Treviso back in March. This squad is virtually the same as the one that dazzled its way across Europe, racking up a maximum haul of points in last season's Challenge Cup pool. It is virtually the same squad that topped the league standings at the turn of the year. On Saturday, Tandy fielded a team boasting players of the caliber of Justin Tipuric, Dan Lydiate, Bradley Davies, Sam Davies, James Hook and Keelan Giles. And that is why there is huge frustration that the Ospreys are punching nowhere the weight. Whatever the reason may be for that, James Hook races away for a fine solo try, one of the bright spots from the game image Hugh Evans' agency at halftime against Munster. They trailed 157 and were still very much in the contest. But Tandy was spot on when he pointed out that the visitors could have been out of sight at the interval. Munster fly-half Tyler Blindall missed 2 early penalty sitters, and the Irish province also had a try chalked off for a marginal forward pass. Sandwiching those were 2 tries which exposed a soft underbelly of a defence. Even South African lock Jean Clen would have been surprised how easily he was able to cross the whitewash to cancel out James Hook's classy solo score. Such was Munster's early dominance. There were 10 minutes on the clock before the Ospreys actually got their hands on any meaningful possession. They creaked at scrum time, an area they did at least rectify in the second half, ran up alleys behind the scrum, and when nothing was on and kicked poorly, highlighted by the reaction of some supporters when Sam Davies put boot to ball in the second half. But it was the sight of players walking instead of chasing back to aid teammates that clearly incensed the coach. Scott Baldwin, Dan Baker, Bradley Davies and Adam Beard trudge off at the final whistle image Hugh Evans' picture agency. It just seemed like a total lack of energy out there. Everyone was looking around at each other to try and lead us out of it, said Tandy. People were walking back. There aren't many times I come in here to face the media and am devastated and disappointed in an effort and application thing, because that is what we pride ourselves on. If you don't front up in the first 40 minutes of a big game against Munster, then you have a problem. Of course, the impact of Tandy's words will only be seen when the Ospreys run out at the Stadio Monego in Treviso on Friday night. Benetton's shock win in Edinburgh suddenly makes the trip to Northern Italy a real test, as is a first away date in South Africa to face the Cheetahs in Bloemfontein a week after. With a home derby against the Scarlets on the horizon, it is little wonder that the Liberty fans are getting restless. Ospreys head coach Steve Tandy knows the pressure is on image Hugh Evans' picture agency. The return of Alan Wynne-Jones, Rhys Webb and Dan Biggar, who made a fleeting appearance for the final 4 minutes against Munster, will be welcome, of course, but Tandy will know he will be without those 3 for chunky periods this season. As he highlighted, others can be looking around waiting for someone to hit the ignition button. Tandy's words need to resonate throughout the squad, otherwise it becomes another futile navel-gazing exercise. As the nearest and dearest the Scarlets showed last season, it doesn't take much for fortunes to be transformed. But these are testing times for the Ospreys. Just how will the players respond to the coach's blunt words?